Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be reviewing a very special fragrance, something that's been on my radar for quite some time, something I've had decants and samples of and just been meaning to purchase a bottle of it, and I finally did. And we have Roja 51 Parfum. I know that there's other versions of this. I know the essence is super popular, but I wanted to talk to you guys about this guy specifically and tell you guys why I think it is so dang special. So if you'd like to know what I think, then keep watching. Now, the big question in the room is, was I given this to review? No, I was not given this to review. And I received, I think, a sample once when I made a purchase at like a fragrance counter, and I loved it. And then I think I tracked down a decant someplace else. I've gone through like probably 10 ml of this fragrance and I just love it. If you guys don't know me, I love white floral fragrances so much. They mean a lot to me personally. They smell fantastic on my skin and they work in the crazy, horrible, horrendous tropical Florida climate that I live in. So it's just one of the fragrances that I like to smell like and works really good with where I live. Now, Roja fragrances to me, I know are expensive, obviously. I own a bunch of them, not all of them. There are definitely others that I need to buy. But when I look for the quality of Roja, or what I look to justify the price, I don't look for ingenuity. It's not that they don't have the capacity to create new and exciting compositions, but I look for them to take already classic, amazing compositions and notes and elevate them with just complexity, top quality ingredients, and just, you know, to take it up a notch, to make it, give it that little oomph. It's kind of like when you see those expensive like desserts, you know, on those special foodie shows, and they're like dripping in gold and caviar and super expensive you know, ingredients and special little things to make it a $1,500 chocolate sundae rather than a $5 chocolate sundae. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that extra stuff that kind of makes you realize, okay, maybe I can understand somebody spending like $500 on a piece of chocolate cake. But with that, that doesn't mean that you need to spend that much money for that. But that is something that I look for when I'm judging Roja fragrances, if I think they are worth the price point and when I review it to you guys. So we're going to start off with the notes in this fragrance, and there are a lot of notes, so I'm really only going to talk about the key notes. At the top you have bergamot, you have a lot of florals at the heart, specifically jasmine, lily of the valley, ylang, tuberose, rose de mai, and at the heart you have some beautiful woods, and I really like the sandalwood in this. There's also some fantastic aromatics, so you have cinnamon, aniseed, there's some benzoin in there, and there's also a note of raspberry somewhere in the mix. And I think that if you think about that, you're gonna think this is either gonna be a very dated white floral fragrance, or it's gonna be a jammy rose with notes of white flowers in there and some aromatic woods. And what I have to say is, no. If I were to describe this fragrance in a way that doesn't do it justice, but I can probably do without gumming up my vocabulary and being slightly articulate, it smells like the most expensive marshmallow you would ever put in your mouth. This fragrance is white florals at its dang near finest. Specifically the blend of white flowers. So white flowers can be very overpowering for some fragrances. They can get lost, they can come together and be a bouquet, a banquet, a feast, which I love. But what I like about white flowers is their ability to be perfect in just about any situation, any climate. You can wear them in the summer, you can wear them in the spring, you can wear them in the fall, you can wear them in the winter. They can be casual, they can be formal, they can be signature scent worthy, they could be special occasion only scent worthy, they could smell youthful, they can smell sophisticated and mature. And what I love about 51 from Roja is that it manages to be pretty much almost all of those things in a very wearable, beautiful, and luxurious way. Now, when I first tried this on my skin, or what really kind of tickled me about this was that it smells really close to Ylang from Micallef, and that is a very common you know, comparison. And Ylang from Micallef to me is one of my favorite white floral fragrances just for its beauty and its versatility. It's a beautiful, rich, decadent, delectable white floral fragrance that's very rich smelling, but so perfect in hot weather. And it's a very transportive scent, and that's something that I really enjoy with white flowers, is their ability to take you out of the elements and to kind of put you in a better situation. So if you're in the heat of summer and you're just, the air conditioning is not working and it's humid and you're like, oh, I don't want to be here. If you wear the white floral fragrance, it'll take you from a hot and humid, gross environment and take you to a tropical locale. It has that ability to transport you, and I really love the transportive element in fragrances, and I find that in most cases white flowers kind of have the ability to do that more than most. And what I like about 51 from Roja is its ability to have these beautiful kind of semi-creamy white floral fragrances that have this light kind of marshmallowy, billowy softness to it that I think makes this the type of fragrance where you could close your eyes and you can imagine yourself being anywhere. And at the same time, it's a beautifully luxurious experience, specifically with that cashmere wood and the sandalwood, and the vanilla just plays a really nice part in smoothing and softening and rounding out these woods and these very aromatic spices and working perfectly with the white flowers. Now the raspberry in this with the rose could easily overpower everything and be a jammy experience. And I do love a jammy rose, but when I see a lot of very specific white flowers, I want the white flowers to shine more than the rose. And so the raspberry in this kind of adds a tart, fruity sourness, which paired with this kind of rose and this vanilla kind of helps this fragrance mimic whatever you want it to be. It's like a little chameleon. So if you want it to be more of a creamy tropical white floral fragrance, you can do that. Or if you in your mind want it to be more billowy, pillowy, marshmallowy, powdery, it can be that too. It can be a mature white floral fragrance, or it can be a youthful white floral fragrance. It has the ability to be anything because of this unique complexity that this fragrance has, with all of its very distinctive notes that work together brilliantly. And that is what I look for from Roja, and this fragrance is a dang good example of that. Now, whether you guys think that this fragrance is worth the price point, that's completely up to you. But for me, 51, from the first time that I smelled it on my skin and to now, it's been the type of fragrance that I look for from Roja and performs in a way that makes me really happy. I smell really good, and I think it's just beautiful and dang near perfect. It's not a perfect fragrance in a lot of ways. I will say that its performance is a little lacking. It's not too bad. I get about 4 to 6 hours on my skin. And in regards to projection, it has a beautiful projection. It has a beautiful, soft, billowy atmosphere. But I know for a lot of people, when it comes down to spending a lot of money on a bottle of perfume, 4 to 6 hours probably isn't what they're looking for. So I did want to let you guys know that. Now, 4 to 6 hours for me on my skin is 6 to 8 on other people, generally because I do live in a very humid environment, and it does kind of wreak havoc on a fragrance's longevity and lifespan on my skin. So, but I did have to mention that the longevity isn't as good as some other fragrances, and if longevity is a deal breaker for expensive fragrances, the Parfum version on my skin, again, is about 4 to 6 hours. But longevity is not a deal breaker for me generally, and this does perform well enough for me to be okay to have justified paying for it. But just because that's okay for me doesn't mean that it's going to be okay for everybody else, so I did want to let you guys know. Now, to kind of quickly compare this to Ylang from Micallef, which is one of my favorite white floral fragrances, I can see it if you close your eyes and you imagine that creamy, kind of more tropical, coconutty white floral fragrance. It does have elements of it, and in hot weather, those elements do come out a little bit more. But I wouldn't say that this is nearly as tropical or nearly as creamy as Ylang from Micallef. I'd say it's more powdery, woody, and slightly balsamic. So if you like fragrances like Ylang from Micallef, I think you're going to enjoy 51 as its own separate fragrance. They don't smell identical, but they do smell similar. at least to my nose. At the end of the day, 51 from Roja Parfums is a beautiful, very feminine, very sophisticated, gorgeous white floral fragrance. If you like sweet, creamy, powdery, woody scents, I think there's something about this that you will at least enjoy. I have been in love with this for years. It's something that I've just been meaning to track down, and I finally have a bottle in my collection. And I've been wanting to share it with you guys for a while, but I've been waiting until I actually got a bottle of it to review it for you guys. But just because I think that way doesn't mean that everybody thinks this way. I always tell you guys, make sure you try it on your skin first before purchasing, especially a very expensive bottle of perfume. So try to track down a sample or a decant before you invest in this bottle, because I might love it a lot and it might be worth it for me to purchase, but this is not the type of fragrance I would recommend blind buying. It is very expensive, albeit very beautiful. So that is my review of 51 from Roja Parfums. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I would love to know what you guys think about this fragrance if you've tried it. Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree with my review? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.